Hello everyone! So today we are going to be designing Marcy's mentor, Corri. So I already knew, as usual, what I wanted, and I know I say that like literally every single time I do one of these videos, but this one specifically, like I knew what I wanted to do, at least for his general appearance. When we get to his other outfits, there were a few bumps, but that's fine. And I actually succeeded in fitting both his designs into one video. I guess you could say I fit all three of his designs into one video, but we'll get to that later. So I knew what I wanted, and I knew how I wanted him to look. Yes, I am aware that you cannot see the top half of his head. I don't know what happened there, but oh well. So basically his normal civilian outfit, you could say, is just, you know, comfortable clothes. I'm gonna be entirely honest, I want him to look like a homeless man. You know that outfit when you have to go to the store, but you don't really want to, and it's your day off? Yeah, that's what he's wearing constantly. So his outfit was pretty easy to come up with. Just a sweatshirt, jacket, and some sweatpants. You'll see that the little box I sectioned off to do the full illustration is a little different than the other ones. And that's because the only pose I could think of to display his personality better was not a standing pose. He's actually sitting, which I have not done before in one of these videos, but it should make it more interesting pose. This pose that I'm drawing now, which unfortunately you also can't see the top half of his head, but this was just to see how the outfit looked on him, and even though in the final illustration he doesn't have his hood on, I still like this drawing, and I actually wish I had taken a photo of it before I started coloring it on the other side of the page, but yeah, I'm kind of sad that it got ruined, but oh well. Corri was probably the one I had the easiest time doing the normal outfit for, but I had an extremely difficult time doing his, what do I call the male version of a magical girl? Is it a magical boy? It just feels weird calling him that because he is pretty old. He is the oldest holder, but we'll get to that in a second. So Corri is 25 physically. I'm not going to elaborate on that quite yet. His full name is Corri Smith, and Corri is technically short for something, but I'm not going to say what that is because it's kind of a joke. He is the oldest living holder of one of the magic jewelry things, and what he has are, I think they're called bangles. So he has the bangles, the earth bangles, and he is the last holder in general. All the other ones are kind of gone now, and he lives by himself. He's kind of a hermit, I think that's what the word is. He lives off-grid and only really goes out into society when he has to. Anyway, at one point, he was cleaning out a spare room that he had that's been empty for years and years, and he decided to just get rid of some stuff. So he went out and he set up his little stand at a flea market, and he got rid of most of it, mostly since he was giving stuff away for free. He just wanted it gone. And he gets home and he realizes that he accidentally gave away the star choker. Since he has the bangles and he was technically the guardian of the star choker, he can track it down pretty easily. And he does find it, but it's a little too late because Marcy has already put it on at this point, which means she can't take it off. And he can't take his off either because he has what I'll just call unfinished business. And since he never completed his task of getting rid of a certain villain, and the Star Choker was under his guardianship, the Star Choker is now stuck on Marcy too. So he is stuck with a teenage girl who has no idea what's going on, and he is not happy about it. And to make matters worse, the guy he was supposed to defeat is getting closer and closer to finding him. So he really doesn't have any other choice but to help Marcy and train her, even though he really would have preferred if she was an adult, because that's when you're supposed to get the... I need to find a word for the magic jewelry stuff. I can't just keep calling it magic jewelry, but yeah, you get the point. You're supposed to be an adult when you get the magic jewelry stuff, if you are seen as worthy, although that's really not always the case, considering how Corri got his. But yeah, Corri kind of just planned to sit around and hide with the other magical gems or jewelry. Yeah, I really need a name, but he kind of just planned to hide for the rest of his life so that the other person who wants them would not get them. But unfortunately, he made one small mistake, and now he's going to have to deal with that. And of course, he's especially not happy that technically he has to deal with two teenagers because Marcy's friend knows, and he hangs out around now too. But Dante kind of ends up being, I guess, the guy in the chair, you could say, except they don't really use computers and stuff like that. The only reason Corey lets Dante stick around is because he's athletic, so he can help with training and stuff like that. Corey used to be athletic, but he is not very athletic anymore. He doesn't really do much anymore, kind of just sits around. Now you can see I started planning out his magic outfit. I still don't know what to call it. Okay. This was pretty easy, actually, I think, for me. Now the first one didn't go over so well, but I did like the second option that I came up with. Or at least to look good in the thumbnail, but I didn't actually go through with it because the drawing did not turn out good. So I restarted entirely, as you can see. I'll let you guess what's wrong with the one that's on the left. But yeah, I missed a lot of stuff. I forgot a lot of details. And the main problems I had with it is the leaves around his neck and shoulders was supposed to be metal, and they were supposed to look like shoulder guards, I think they're called. And the colors did not come out right at all. So if I've learned anything from this, it's that I really need to start doing colored thumbnails. So now I guess I'll kind of mention how Corey got his bangles. Now I know I said there's no way to take them off unless you finish whatever your mission is, but there is one way, and it's if you transfer it to someone else. But then of course they'd be stuck with it unless they found someone to transfer it to. But Corey was like 21, 20 when he got his, because the previous holder just couldn't take it anymore. And so they offered it to him, and he thought it was a scam, but it was free. So he just took it. He had no idea that it was actually going to be magical. Also, another thing I should mention, Corey doesn't have two bangles. One of them is fake, one of them is real. I'll just throw that out there. Star choker holder at the time, and the sun ring holder at the time. I haven't shown the sun ring yet, but we'll get to that eventually. It doesn't really get used, but it does exist. So the star holder and the sun holder were both very confused, and they had no idea what to do with Corey because he was very irresponsible at the time. But you know, he trained, he got used to it, he never really grew out of being irresponsible until something happened, and I'm not going to go into that. But then, eventually, the sun ring holder gets killed, and so does the star choker holder, and he's kind of left by himself. And he could have passed it down to someone else, but he couldn't bring himself to train someone again, so he just held on to his bangles and the star choker. The sun ring got lost, and he has no idea where it is. He's just hoping that the villain does not have it. But as long as he has at least one of the magic jewelry, he should be fine. So he keeps it and he hides it with himself, of course, until he accidentally loses it and gets it to Marcy. That's pretty much all I can say about him without spoiling other things. I'm really glad I restarted on the outfit, because I do not like how the first attempt came out, and I really like how the second one came out. Also, I forgot to color his hair in the first outfit, so yeah. I definitely think I'm going to start doing colored thumbnails from now on. I used to think it was a waste of time, but honestly, after this whole incident, I think it should be fine. But that is going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Corey is probably my favorite character, so I was happy to do this. And I hope to see you next time.